Okay, that was Attack on Titan, Season 4, Episode 5. Oh my god. That was a fantastic episode.
That episode, there was such a quietness to it in such an unsettling, like, heart-racing way. It was like, if you were to equate that episode to, like, a horror film, it was like 20 minutes of someone reaching toward a doorknob in a horror film where there is a murderer behind the door. Yeah. And it was 20 minutes straight of someone just reaching slow-mo toward that doorknob with the murderer there. That's how it felt. Like, my heart,
I think saying that this episode is really well written might be a little bit of an understatement. Like, to be able to, like, just hold my attention to the degree that it did was very... I'm kind of speechless a bit right now.
I also am. I have so many things that I feel like aren't necessarily matching up. Like, okay, is there a connection between the Tybers and Eren? Or did he just know about this speech but isn't actually interacting with the Tiber family and they're not, like, actually in on a plan together? You know, like, there's so many different parallels and things that were happening that I'm not quite sure who actually is aware of, you know, or having a connection or a relationship, actually.
I don't blame you, and I am right there with you, and I think that there's a lot of things I need to, like, think through and work through, because to give it to you plain and simple, it's been 4 years of time. Eren has been living here for a while. Yeah. Eren has had a lot of time to develop, think, and change, and we are trying our best to understand it.
I mean, I was totally, like, I think for most of that speech, most of that show, I was like, wow, oh my god, maybe Eren and the Tiber family really are, like, in contact and planning this. But then once the note changed to Eren Yeager's this villain, I was like, wait, maybe I'm not so sure, and maybe the Tiber family just wanted the truth out there so that everyone could actually join together knowing the truth, because, I mean, that's the whole thing about the show, is you're keeping truths from people that deserve to know the truth of their world and why it is the way that it is.
Yeah.
So that they can choose free, like, real freedom. Okay, who is the guy in the helmet? Who was that? Armin? Like, the eyes, there was something about them that almost looked like feminine. Like, I almost was like, that's not Krista. Like, that's not, you know, like, Historia. Yeah. That's not Annie. Yeah. Right?
I don't know.
I was like, who else is blonde?
I had so much fun, like, relearning Eren's character and just, like, watching it happen and unfold and, like, hearing what he had to say. And that's a very interesting feeling for me to have for Eren, because, like, I'm thinking about everything development-wise we've ever gotten from Eren Yeager as a character, and as a boy, as an angsty boy, as a crying boy, yes, as a screaming boy. And just to hear him speak like this when the last thing we heard was what he said pointing across the ocean, you just think, like, it's an interesting thing that you did with Eren, because when you're trying to figure out the morality of these characters, and if there is a right way to go about it, I think that Eren is like a really good candidate right now for me, because he wasn't petty in the initial response of, I hate these people for what they did. Eren, you want to know why it's terrifying? Because it's so calculated. And it's so well thought out. And it's something that I never thought Eren would do. And that's what makes it hit harder than I think it, could have. For Eren to come over here and say, I'm going to live with the people here and investigate and see if they are just people, good, bad, in between, and really understand that, and then give them seemingly a chance to see what they were going to do before he reacted. Like, Aaron's sitting there listening to what the entire society's decision is going to be.
What is their plan going to be? Oh, your plan is to tear me down and everyone else on Paradis?
You want to start a war?
You started it.
I'm not going to be the one who instigates or, like, is the one to declare it. You want to declare it? All right, fine. I'm right here and I'm going to take that seriously.
And it feels so good to root for him because now both times there's been a war, Paradis and Aaron have not been the ones to make it happen.
Yeah.
And it's like, of course I'm going to root for a character like Aaron who he's still basically living by the founding titan in his own way by not being the one that is pushing for war. He will defend himself. And that is such like an admirable thing, is like to have a character embody that, to be able to be like, well, he really came and he saw. And I feel like Reiner and Aaron are the characters that are the most I feel like they're the most morally correct because, and I know that there's fuzzy lines there, but to not be ignorant, and they both have had reality checks. They both have been willing and have become aware to the reality of humanity, and that you can't just think of another group of humans as trash and a devil in order so that you can just wipe them off the face of the earth and not feel bad about it. Like, they are the most in touch with the truth of themselves and their souls, that they can't just come up with an easy excuse to kill or to put their needs and their wants and their desires above someone else's. They're the most in hell because they're the ones that are truly aware and facing the truth. And I also like wrote down like Reiner and Aaron, both of them at the end there were saying, Aaron was saying, I'm like you.
Yeah.
Like, and they're both saying things along the lines of, this is my fault. And now Falco's feeling that. Now Falco, it's almost like the generation. Like, Reiner and Aaron are both like, it's my fault. This is happening. And then now Falco's like, well, this thing that's happening now is my fault. It's like the next generation.
Yeah. How do you think Aaron got here, man? I know that
I don't know how they like infiltrated. So especially with like
mentally,
how did he get here? Like,
so
how did he?
There was like the obvious answer and development is that it's what was given to us. It's that he infiltrated and saw what this society was like firsthand. But oh my God, the journey of a character who is pretty sporadic and childish to just being able to come across so believable in the character of calculated and just confidence, I guess, and just knowing and he's so steadfast. I don't know. Like,
do you think he would have been able? Like, here's a good question. We're talking about how did Aaron's mind get to where we saw him and how he was able to do this. But I think that there's a piece of the puzzle that's shining there of how he would have been able to maybe even calmly infiltrate and be able to keep himself calm and collected. And that is that he has memories of that there are good people there before even getting there.
Yeah.
He has all of his dad's memories. So he already is on a better foot than Reiner and Berthold and Annie, who still thought that these people inside the walls were devils until they broke the walls down. Aaron is infiltrating knowing that there are good people there, and so he's waiting to see what the bad people amongst the good people do.
Yeah.
And that's why he's able to keep such a collected... I feel like if Aaron didn't have any memories or didn't know what Marley was like, then that Aaron that pointed across the water, being like, all of my enemies are over there, would have been the note that we might still see.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he's very stubborn as a character, and so I feel like he could have held on to that sour note.
Yeah.
And that revenge note, even if he had infiltrated, even if he had met good people. I feel like he could have stayed there if he wasn't careful.
I agree with you. And I think to be able to recognize the fucked up reality of the situation, that you're just a kid being told shit at the end of the day, and it, you know, there's only so much
and they're
blame.
in a room with a kid that is currently being told shit.
Yeah, I think
So
that
good.
to recognize that and take it in that direction is incredible. I wonder what Aaron thinks of Reiner telling him that it was his decision and he is the one to blame and he wanted to be the hero. And I think it's incredible that Aaron got Reiner to that point of saying that. It was like,
It fits with the beginning of the episode where it was the man that died in the tree just wanted to be judged.
Yeah.
And I think I said it in the opening. Does Reiner want to be judged? And what do
Dude,
we get?
you know,
We get Reiner on his knees in front of Aaron.
Do you know what this is? This is you're at the gates of heaven and you're confessing your sins and God is in front of you and he's going to decide if you're going to hell or heaven.
And to Reiner, this is the person to apologize to.
Yeah.
Because Reiner is looking at a person. Reiner ruined this person's life and pushed them into hell, pushed them into this role of being the actual enemy. You made this guy the enemy. He wasn't your enemy before. You made him your enemy.
I think Aaron knew a decent amount of answers when he was asking Reiner, how did my mom get eaten? Why did my mom get eaten?
He was pushing it to Reiner to talk.
It was just incredible. And I think that I don't think I would have ever thought I'd feel this way about Aaron.
I feel so good too because there was tension there, but I didn't feel like Aaron was, I feel like he had relinquished any sort of blame or hatred toward Reiner in this moment. It's almost like he was sitting there as a mature person and Reiner was sitting there as a little kid. He was talking to this little kid being like, you were a kid.
It's almost like Aaron Yeager's dead. Like
it's a ghost coming and appearing in front of a small child or inside Reiner's psyche. He's still a small wounded child, which he might actually be inside of there. And that Aaron is just appearing in front of him as an adult now. And gosh, that was beautiful.
The delivery and line of Reiner saying, Aaron, how? Why did you come here? And then it just cuts to Aaron, and he's like, same reason you did.
It's like when Reiner's saying that, there's a way he says it too that I feel like, and I obviously I might feel it more if I was watching the dub where I could hear how it's really being said, that specific line, that it's like he knows the answer. He knows that this is like a rhetorical question and it's a dumb question. He's asking it anyway because he's just so mystified and in disbelief, but also...
It's so powerful because you hit the nail on the head. It feels like this conversation is already like pre-written and it just needs to happen.
This is like a chess game that Aaron has already knows all the moves to.
And Reiner, like I think that if both of them just sat there in silence, they would have already come to the same...
It would have happened.
It would have
Reiner would have ended up on his knees.
Yeah.
If it was like a staring contest.
It's a conversation that can happen without words. And the words that they use are so simple and specific and plain.
So simple and plain because...
Your mind immediately fills in all the gaps. Same reason you did.
It also shows how much they know each other.
Right.
And how they were good friends for years. And that they had a bond and they are connected and they've been connected still. And they're connected through their shared fate of basically being the ones at fault in hell. And it's like they could have a conversation without words. Like that's how connected these two characters are.
If you had to try to find and tell me the character who had the closest experience and might have the best shot at completely understanding everything you're feeling, if you're Reiner, it's gonna be Aaron.
Yeah.
Like it's...
I think I was thinking that maybe we would get some sort of a more connection with like Zeke being the character with Aaron in the mix because of that like half-brother situation.
I'm so glad it wasn't.
But I'm so glad that it's Reiner because gosh, this felt like this was the sequel to sitting on the tree branches.
Do you know what though? Like, so we got all of Reiner and Berthold, and we loved them as friends and characters, and then we felt that betrayal, right? And they became antagonists to us.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't this
like,
conversation
lovable antagonists
well,
to us.
Yeah, but like throughout that, part of me was really worried and upset that like all of that deceit was lost. Like because in that deceit were these real moments and friendships and laughs that we got to witness and share in. This conversation makes it all worth it. And
it's like it's all flooding back.
It wasn't wasted time as an undercover agent that was flipped and then, you know, and that's the story then. No, all of that progression and character writing pays off in this instance because the moment between Eren and Reiner, and they completely they get each other, you know? Mm-hmm. It's so messed up. It's very dark and it's very grim. I think that Eren knew the answer that, what's the guy's name, the nickname that they were calling him, the guy speaking?
Willie? Eren called him Willie.
Yeah. I think Eren knew what Willie was going to say, and I think that's why it's so powerful that he's there listening for the answer anyway.
That's why I don't know if it was a plan or not.
I don't know.
Because think about Magath. Magath was up there waiting for something to happen.
Yeah.
Willie was alone on a stage, vulnerable. I was like, either he's going to get assassinated by Marley, or the plan is for him to be a part of some big, giant entrance by the people of Paradis and Eren and his friends.
I completely, at the moment, leave that theory behind. Like, if I'm in one boat, it is that Willie realizes the severity of the issue, and he's terrified because even with the entire world on his side, I think he still realizes he's probably fucked versus Eren. And I think that I think he's trying right now, and he's like, okay, this is my only shot, I guess, and he's still fucked.
But what's the shot? Does he really think that if all of these people that are gathered here teamed up, they could defeat how many colossals? How many colossal titans? Does he really think that, okay, I have to say it now, I have to tell all these people now that this is our true enemy, that we could really stop this from happening? No, the only way you can freaking stop it from happening is to sit down and have some type of, obviously you seem to love these diplomatic dinner dates with all these people. You have to have one of those with Paradis. Why is this a declaration of war thing? And why is this not, we should try to talk to these people so that they don't do this?
Yeah.
Because Eren doesn't seem like his mind is solely revenge here in this moment. It seems like I'm going based on your movements. I'm playing based on what the cards you put down.
No, you're right, but Willie, I think that he's already operating under the belief that it's only a matter of time until he gets what's coming to him. He's already, the seeds have already been sown. It seems like if he waited any longer, Eren would find out more or something.
So what are we waiting for here? What is Magath with binoculars? Have you noticed anything yet? What are they waiting for? What is Willie scared is going to happen and or hoping is going to happen during this speech? What are we on pins and needles waiting to happen? Do we already have an inkling? Who is this person?
I think it's Armin.
But there's the eye shape. The eye shape is why I almost think that it's Historia.
It could be.
Why would she have gotten taller?
We're looking at the person who drove,
who took Peak and put him in a hole.
Yeah. In a well.
It was like a hole that's there for warriors already. I'm like, of course they'd have a trapdoor cellars to put the warriors in.
It looks like whoever it is has an undercut, potentially. I think it could be Armin, it could be Historia, but other than that, I wouldn't have a guess.
That'd be wild if Historia was there, though, right? What if Eren does this big thing and then Historia just walks out onto the stage? Wouldn't that be just wild?
At this point,
Historia could eat The Tiber guy.
I'm just wondering, like, what do you do now? What's your goal? Like, what are the people of Paradis thinking, and what's their plan that they've decided on?
Well, they're not gonna be like, hey, no, guys, we're good. Don't try to fight us. Like, I feel like it's past that point, and unfortunately, they can't have that, which is so dumb and really frustrating for me. Like, you literally you have declared war on these poor, innocent, ignorant people twice now.
What? Envision a room with Levi, Hanji, Aaron, everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pixis, everybody. Exactly. We're coming up with a plan that's going to happen within the walls here on this side, right? Within the gates. And you're like, okay, Aaron's going to be in the basement alone with Reiner. He's going to wait to hear what's going to happen. If they want to go to war with us, we'll give them the benefit of the doubt. If they want to go to war with us, we'll fight them right here and now.
So how many people would have had to infiltrate then? So we have all the warriors taken care of, basically. Zeke has been told to go by a gate. We had, what's interesting is that one family who left beforehand too, which is why I was still on the boat that maybe the Tibers were doing something in cahoots with Paradis.
Yeah.
Is because of that one family leaving and not
with you.
staying for the speech. Like, why else would you leave if you didn't know that shit was gonna hit the fan and people could die? You know?
I'm with you there. I was completely... It's confusing because we shouldn't completely rule out the thought, right, that Aaron is working with the Tibers somehow.
In some way, and or with some group of people.
Yeah.
I'm just... Gosh, that's why I opened this discussion being like, nothing is completely clicking in terms of connection and relationship and like who is teamed up right now. I am not... It's like a bunch of wires and they're not like fully connecting because I feel like I have evidence to support it being a connection, a relationship, and an agreement, and it not being, and I'm not sure which way it's gonna go at this point.
Did you want to go through the episode?
Sure.
I can't believe we met Annie's dad, and that...
He's very resolute that his daughter is still alive, which he's not technically... Well, we don't know right now. We don't know because it's been 4 years. But last time we checked, Annie was still crystallized and alive, so...
I am completely dumbfounded that we met Annie's dad, and I wonder if there's any type of, like, hate that you would get if your daughter was the one who lost the female Titan power. You know? Mm-hmm. Like, I wonder what kind of life you're living. I
do wonder if there is a different treatment. They're, honorary Marlians? Mm-hmm. If, for Bertholdt's family, Marcel's family, and for Annie's family, was there a different type of treatment that then came about from their kids failing and losing Titans? Were they basically just losing their honorary status and or treated poorly over this?
I don't know.
Bertholdt's dad died?
Yeah.
Is that what we're getting at? Yeah, that's what Reiner's mom was saying. I still despise that woman. I do not like Reiner's mom.
No. We got like a bit of theatrics on the part of Willie.
I did definitely like that.
I wonder whose job it was, like, to make these like paper cardboard cutouts of Titans eating people.
So, okay, I want to say something about the theatrics and about the show. If these people, this crowd, the Eldians, weren't already... So we have this group of people whose minds, they're trying so hard. Yeah. They try so hard to believe the truths and the facts that they're told by Marley. They try so hard to live by that. But for one man to just stand on a stage and tell them the truth and them to so easily start to listen.
Yeah.
It's because they're trying so hard. It's not real. It's not real beliefs. They're trying to believe these things that are untrue so hard. But deep down, it's like they know.
Yeah.
It's like so when he's talking to them, you would think if these people so hardcore believed Marley was the best and Eldians suck and all, if they so hardcore believed this, that some of them would stand up and be like, how to blasphemy,
Yeah.
you know? Like, that they'd be mad at Willie Tiber, that they'd be mad at him. But it seems like he's away with words. He's captivated this crowd, but also this crowd is way more easily swayed by him than they would be if what he's saying was so hard to believe.
How are you gonna argue with a dude who has that kind of memory? You know, like
that, and it seems like he's the perfect, like, pin man. He's the perfect one to be doing this because he's well respected. He is eloquent. You know, like, he's the perfect person to be the one giving this speech. He has definitely done a good job at making sure he's well liked and well respected. What are we on pins and needles waiting to happen? What are we on pins and needles waiting to happen? What are we on pins and needles waiting to happen?
What are we on pins and needles waiting to happen?